So today we're going to look at multiplying polynomials, but before that I want to kind of review some of the distributive property and some of our exponent properties because we're going to need those as we move forward through today's lesson. So go ahead, try the warm-up, which is going to review the distributive property as well as the adding exponents property. So for the first one, we're going to distribute the -2 to both pieces. Please make sure you go plus the opposite and put a -1 in front of the b. That's going to give me -18a plus positive 2b, because the two negatives will go positive. Down here in the bottom, we're going to match up our like terms. I have 3 r's, 2 in the 1 in the other one gives me 3. My s's, I have 4 s's, so r cubed s to the 4th. So we're going to look at multiplying polynomials now, and there are 4 methods to multiplying polynomials. We're going to look at 3 of them in the first part of the lesson, and then the second day of the lesson we're actually going to spend the entire day on that 4th and final piece. So the first one is basically just the distributive property. We're going to do a monomial times a polynomial. You are literally and truly just going to take the piece outside and multiply it to each piece inside. Numbers multiply with numbers and exponents get added. I want to change color so it stands out a little bit more. So we're going to do 2x cubed times x cubed. That's going to give me 2x to the 6th. Plus 2x cubed times 3x squared will give me 6x to the 5th. Make sure you still always remember to go plus the opposite. This will give me -4x to the 4th and 10x cubed. And that's all there is to it. You're literally just taking each piece and multiplying it by the piece that is outside of the parenthesis. Go ahead, try the second one on your own, then we'll go over it. So we're going to do 3x squared times 2x cubed. That's going to give me 6x to the 5th because I'm adding my exponents. I have a -1 in front of that x, so it's going to give me -3x to the 4th plus 12x cubed plus -9x squared when I'm through distributing. So that was method 1, done and finished already. Now we're going to look at method 2. And method 2 is going to be very similar to the Punnett square you saw in 7th grade science, where you were looking at the genetics and the mixing of the carnations. But now we're going to do it with numbers instead of genes. So I'm going to go plus -4. I'm going to take one of my parentheses, it doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to break it into the 2 boxes across the top. My second parenthesis is going to break into the 2 boxes going down the side. And now we're just going to multiply and fill in each box. So 3x times x, 3 times 1 is 3, you can't read blue in a blue box. So it's going to be 3x squared because I have 2 x's. 3x and -4 is -12x. 2 and 1x is 2x, and 2 and -4 is -8. We now need to pull it out of the box, because the box is lovely, but it's just a tool to help us. We're going to start in the top row, from left to right, pull out the pieces, and then work the bottom row left to right. So 3x squared plus -12x plus 2x plus -8. Middle 2 terms add together, giving me 3x squared plus -10x plus -8. Hopefully you do remember that those middle 2 terms can be added together because they are like terms. They match based on their variables. I'm going to walk through one more of these with you. This time I'm going to put the a and the 3 going down the side and the 2a plus 1 across the top. Again, it does not matter as long as you keep each parenthesis going in the same direction. So 2a times a is 2a squared I have 1a, 6a, and 3. Pulling out of the box, I have 2a squared plus 1a plus 6a plus 3. Middle two pieces are like terms, 2a squared plus 7a plus 3. That's why it's so important we pull the pieces out of the box in a certain order. By doing that, we can guarantee almost always that those two middle pieces will be like terms and we will be able to add them together. So I want you to go ahead and try this one on your own. Now that you've had a chance to try it on your own, I'm going to have 4n and negative 1 across the top and 1n and 5 going down the bottom. It's going to give me 4n squared plus negative 1n plus 20n plus negative 5. So 4n squared plus negative 1n plus 20n plus negative 5. 4n squared plus 19n plus negative 5 is what we're going for. The third method for the first part of the lesson can actually be done two ways, and I'm going to show you both of them. Doesn't matter which method you pick. There are a lot of students that prefer one over the other, and they have their reasons. It doesn't matter to me, but there are two ways you can do this. First thing I'm going to do is change all my subtraction to plus the opposite because I don't want to lose my negative signs. My preferred method of doing this problem is doing long multiplication like you used to do in elementary school when you had a 3-digit number times a 2-digit number. Same thing. So I'm going to start with my negative 4. Negative 4 times 7 is positive 28. We do not carry. Negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24b. And negative 4 and 1b squared is negative 4b squared. Oh. No, it's not what I want. I got stuff going on. Negative 4b squared. I'm running out of room. So we're done with the negative 4 now. We put a 0 as our placeholder and we move in. 3b times negative 7 is negative 21b. 3b times negative 6b is negative 18b squared. And 3b and 1b squared is 3b cubed. Kind of ran out of room, but that 3b cubed should be right next to the negative 18b squared. So now we're going to add down. So 28 plus, that would be positive 3b. Negative 4b squared and negative 18b squared is negative 22b squared. And the 3b cubed didn't have any like terms, so it just comes down. So it really is a matter of, do you remember how to long multiply? And can you keep everything nice and organized? It's basically two different organizational methods. The second method is the table method, kind of like what we just finished, except this time you're going to be doing a 2 by 3 table. So I'm going to have 3b and negative 4 down the side. I'm going to have b squared, negative 6b, and negative 7 across the top. This gives me 3b cubed, negative 18b, negative 21b. Negative 4b squared, negative 24b, and that should be a negative 18b squared, and positive 28. Now I have to pull it out of the box, just like we did before. So it's going to be one big long problem. 3b cubed plus negative 18b squared plus negative 21b. Negative 4b squared is a like term with 18b squared, so I'm going to write it underneath it. Negative 24, that should be a positive 24. Positive 24 matches up with 21b, and 28 has no match. Add our like terms, I get 3b cubed plus negative 22b squared plus 3b plus 28. And you can see that we got the answer the same. both directions. It's just a matter of organizationally, do you like the table with spots for specific things, or are you okay using the columns in the old-fashioned long multiplication system? So I changed up my slides a little bit. We're actually not going to look at this. We're not going to look at this because I just showed you the box method. I just did it on the same slide. I totally forgot that I had two separate ones. So here are two that I'd like you to try. Whether you try them with the box or whether you use the long multiplication, it doesn't matter to me. Just go ahead and give them a try. So now that you've had a chance, I'm going to work out part of it. So I end up with negative 15x cubed plus 20x squared plus negative 5x with my first part of the long multiplication. I end up with negative 6x squared plus 20x plus, negative 2, that's not a 20x. That should be an 8x. I was looking at the wrong number. An 8x. Final answer, 15x cubed plus 14x squared plus 3x plus negative 2. Looking at the third one, we have 54z cubed plus 9z squared plus negative 9z. We also have negative 30z squared plus negative 5z plus 5. So 54z cubed plus negative 21z squared plus negative 14z plus 5 is the answer for that one. So that's the end of day 1 of the lesson. You just need to go through, make sure you have your homework worksheet. If you don't, please look online. And if you're ready to move on to lesson 2, we'll go ahead and get started. So today's warm-up is just reviewing the 3 methods of multiplying that we talked about yesterday. So go ahead and try those. So the first one we're distributing. We will get 4x to the 6th plus 1x to the 5th plus negative 11x to the 4th plus negative 6x squared. Using the box method, I'm just going to show you the pieces pulled out of the box. We would have 24n squared plus negative 15n plus negative 48n plus positive 30. So that would give me 24n squared plus negative 63n plus 30. Whether you use the box or the long multiplication for the third one, we actually did this one in class yesterday, so I'm not going to show it completely worked out again, but positive 54z cubed plus negative 21z squared plus negative 14z plus 5. So we're going to look at this method known as foiling. And FOIL is actually an acronym. It stands for first, outer, inner, last. And it's just the order in which we're going to multiply. So looking at the first one, and the goal of FOIL is really to be able to start doing it in your head and picking up the speed. I don't expect that at first, but that's kind of where we eventually want to end up. So I'm going to multiply my first 2 pieces in the parentheses. So it's going to give me 3a squared. So that's my first. My outer is the 2 outside terms in the parentheses. That's going to give me negative 6a. Inner is the 2 inside pieces for 4a. And last are the 2 pieces last in each parenthesis, which would be negative 8. So F, O, I, and L for FOIL. Middle two pieces add together just like the box method. This is basically replacing the box method because you can eventually go quicker. So looking at the second one, using the FOIL method, we have 4b squared plus negative 8b plus negative 5b plus positive 10. Middle two add together and you get 4b squared plus negative 13b plus 10. Last one, 4a squared plus 6a plus 8a plus 6. That's not right. Should be a 3a. I'm losing it. I've done too many videos today. Middle two terms are going to add together, and we get 4a squared plus 11a plus 6. So I want to check something here. Use my eraser, use my pointer pen. All right. Well, you guys actually got lucky because everyone in the class would have ended up with 14 of these problems, but it looks like only 7 of them are showing up for us. Go ahead, try them on your own, and then I'll come back and I'll just read over the answers. So the first one, maybe, should be 10r squared plus 1r plus negative 3. Number 2 is 48x squared plus 58x plus negative 11. Number 3, 8x squared plus 46x plus 63. Number 4, I have 21a squared plus negative 34a plus 8. It's a negative 34. Number 5, I have 48x squared plus negative 88x plus 35. So for number 6, we end up with 40x squared plus 47x plus 12. And the very last one, right as the bell rings, is y squared plus 1y plus negative 30. Homework tonight, like always, is to complete the worksheet. You can find that online or on the team calendar. You must use the FOIL method this evening. Even if you believe you like the box method better, this evening I am going to make you use the FOIL method. As always, please come see me if you have any questions or concerns.